evening. Welcome to Living Arts. I'm your host, Jackie Suarez. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight we have a full house. We have Ray Blue and the Pro-Am Ensemble. He was actually our second guest in our program, and now he is our 50th guest. Mr. Blue, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Jackie.
Great to have you here.
It's great to be back again.
How are you?
Fine, and I've got all my peeps with me.
Right, so I guess, you know what, let's start off by talking about the cross-cultural connection and how that kind of gave birth to the Pro-Am Ensemble.
Okay, well, as you know, Cross Cultural Connection is a nonprofit organization, 501c3. Our mission is to promote jazz education and jazz performances in schools, colleges, and communities. And in that, created the Pro-Am Ensemble with the concept that we want to, put emphasis on the traditional classical American music, which is jazz, and expose young people and students, music students in particular, to rehearsing, performing, and being around professional musicians. So the Pro-Am Ensemble is one that they're very interested, motivated young musicians who want to learn the music, and they are mentored. They rehearse with and perform with, in most cases, with other members of the band who happen to be professional musicians. Want to give them an opportunity to be around players and persons who can teach them and pass on information and guide them, as they're learning their instruments.
That's awesome, so how do you come to get a student to you? Did you have auditions, or did you seek them out in the various high schools? Because I know that you have the workshop, right?
Yes.
So the student had to apply for the workshop.
Well, this particular group came together in a very special way. I was hired as an artist in residence at Putnam Valley High School, and it's a great place it was a great place to be, and I'll be back again next year. And these students here, in addition to a couple, are students who are in the jazz band, and they express an interest in studying more and having an opportunity to play in other situations outside of school. And so here they are.
Yeah. So why don't we see who we've got here? Maybe one by one, you could all just introduce yourself, tell me what instrument you play, and what school you go to. We'll stop at the top over here.
My name is Patrick. I play the alto saxophone, and I'm from Putnam Valley High School.
Okay.
My name is Adrian. I play the trombone, and I also go to Putnam Valley High School.
I'm Zach. I play trumpet, and I'm also from Putnam Valley High School.
Everybody here from Putnam?
Christina, I play tenor saxophone, and I go to Putnam Valley High School.
Okay.
I'm Dan. I play the tenor sax, and I go to SUNY Geneseo, and I went to Putnam Valley High School.
Okay, so you're in college now.
I'm Sophia. I play the drums, and I go to Putnam Valley Middle School.
Okay, so this is our youngest member of the band here, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about the experience you've had working with Ray, and what it's done, and as far as your being in music, and where you want to go with it.
Well, I've always liked music, and since I was in, I guess, elementary school, I started playing the tenor sax or the saxophone, and before that, I had piano lessons and stuff like that. So music's always been part of my life, and since going to college, I kind of decided that it's probably not going to be my my job or anything like that. I didn't want to pursue that, living in the city and doing gigs and stuff. But I definitely wanted it to be, part of my life, and I like music. So, I'm doing music at my college, and here in the summer, I figured I'd, keep playing, and I knew, Ray Blue was working in the high school, and I heard a lot of great things about him. So I decided to, see what it was all about. Yeah, so.
That's awesome. So as far as bringing this particular group together, as I mentioned before, what was the process? I mean, was there some type of audition that took place, or how did you get to land on these students?
Well, the student Christine, Zach, Adrian and Patrick were all part of the jazz band when I was doing the residence.
Okay.
So I obviously have heard them play, and we've
Mhm.
done some work together. At our first performance in June, our first summer performance, it was one that was sponsored by a grant from March Westchester at the Embark.
Mhm.
Dan happened to be there in support of his brother with the family, and Sophia was there as well with
Mhm.
the family. And they made it known to me that they were interested in being a part of, coming in into the workshops, and so, sure, let's do it.
Okay. So what would be some of the goals that you have for this program moving forward?
For the Pro-Am Ensemble, one of a goal is that the students be committed and be focused to their on the commitment of working on learning this music. What to come out of it, I want to have them on stage as often as they can, during the course of the time that we're working together. They come to workshops. Some of them are doing private lessons as well, but they come to the workshops and they're doing the work. As I said, I want to have them performing. We have some plans to bring them to other schools, other venues, other communities to be able to perform. We have a plan for next summer, and that is for them to be a part of an international exchange.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that one time.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys would travel abroad, and then somebody else would be coming here.
Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah.
should be interesting.
Yeah, CCC is going to have a jazz camp next summer.
Mm-hmm.
So during the time that the camp is in session, after our group goes to Europe and returns, then students from that we'll be meeting and working with in Europe will come here for 2 weeks.
That's awesome. So what kind of, how are you affording to do this, or?
I'm going to raise money.
Right. Exactly, right, exactly. So how is all this gonna take place? Well, those students, I guess, that are coming from.
They take care of the road.
Right, okay.
They take care of the road. For our students and for all of the overhead that we have here, we have funding through grant and fundraising donations,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Okay, so that the students can fly there.
Yeah.
Okay, now you've performed a couple of times in the area
Mhm.
to rave reviews. So why don't you tell me a little bit about that experience, maybe get one of these guys to chime in and talk about what you guys are going to be doing moving forward, because I know you still have a couple of things happening before school starts.
Yes, actually, we have 2 more workshops.
What is just to go back a little bit, one of your workshops, what would that entail exactly?
Okay, one of the workshops, they entail focusing on the discipline of playing the instrument and playing together as an ensemble, blending. We do some things related to theory, jazz music theory, jazz theory. We work on phrasing, we work on tone, we work on we do some mind bender things that have to do with working with intervals of chords, because jazz is an improvisational music, and to learn to play this, we have to put a lot of work in on understanding the harmonies and the movement and what to do with that. The other important aspect of that, which they do very well with, is putting forth their own personal expression.
Okay.
This is a very talented group of young musicians. They are. I'm really pleased. They've been trained well. Whomever took them in as when they were beginners did a great job. They all read. They have a concept of theory. Where we can talk in that language, and they grasp it. I'll describe something, I'll explain something, and they'll grasp it. They'll go home and they'll do the work on it, and come back and challenge my know-how too at times. So I really like that. So we have a good time with that.
Okay,
And
so
then-
it's kind of specific when you're organizing for, let's say, a couple of songs or working on. Sort
We
of-
work on repertoire.
Okay.
We definitely work on repertoire. We have our repertoire so far. We have enough for two and a half shows.
Okay.
2.5 sets. So we're in good shape with that, and it's moving forward. I give them challenging material. We work on things that are considered basic in terms of jazz structure, which is the blues. The blues inside of all of it. However, we work on other music that's and I make sure I challenge them, and they step up to the plate with it, and they put the work. They put the work in.
So Christina, being a female saxophone player over here, what's that like? Or how did you start to do that?
Well, I started playing clarinet, and then I actually quit band altogether, but I really missed it. So it kind of had to go back, And then there was one tenor sax player, and we were short, and there was like a lot of clarinets. So I switched, and I like it.
Okay, how long have you been doing that?
9th grade. I'm
Ninth
going
grade?
into 11th grade, so.
Okay. So this is the rock star in the group here, you mentioned earlier?
One of them.
As far as maybe getting like some rock overtones into infusing it, like when they come forward with their personality or...
Well, actually, there are 3 other members of the ensemble who aren't here today.
Okay.
And another young lady, Carly Bartolini, Christina, and Sophia have a trio, and have a rock trio. And
Oh, okay.
They put their own music together. It's all instrumental, and they're yeah.
I'd like to hear that one day.
Yeah.
So now, what was your first performance like when you guys were playing?
Our first performance was at the Embark, and it was a collaboration with Andrea Elam's dance group.
Synapse Dance Theater,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and well, I enjoyed it immensely, but I like the other musicians to talk about their experience with it.
Okay. So Adrian, what do you think about, you're also the trombone player, right?
Yeah.
So what was that experience like? Was that the first time that you'd performed kind of in that type of setting?
Well, we have a jazz band at our school, so I've improvised on that. So it was different because there was a smaller audience. I was used to large because it was the entire, it was along with the band concert, so everyone was there anyway.
Okay. Did you
But-
enjoy it?
Yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking because the improv, but it was good.
Okay, so it was totally improvisational.
Yeah,
Well-
Wow.
the dancers it was, yes.
Oh, okay, so the dancing part of it, but not what you guys were playing. You guys had something that you had, previously performed.
Yep.
Okay, so what was your next performance like?
The next performance was at the Bean Runner on the 4th of August, and I'll let one of the other musicians give their impression of how it was.
So how was performing at the Bean Runner for you?
The Bean Runner is great. It's a lot of fun just to kind of hang around with people that all enjoy music, and especially playing with my friends from school and Ray, which we've had for the year in our school, helping us out.
Okay.
So just having fun and enjoying it is great, and especially because we all enjoy playing music. So it's a great experience.
So do you think you could do this professionally, or is that something that you would like to do?
I would love to pursue music if I can. It's challenging, as Ray probably knows, but I would love to, and I enjoy it a lot. So it'd be something I'd very much enjoy to do.
I gotta tell you, when you guys performed earlier, it really knocked me out. I mean, that was awesome. So I'll be looking forward to seeing you again. So you mentioned you're gonna be at another place here in White Plains.
Yes, we're going to be opening up for the White Plains Food and International Jazz Festival on September 8th. We go on stage at 11:30 a.m.
Okay, that's kind of early.
Yeah, it is. However, we'll be there, ready to play.
Oh, absolutely. I may be there as well. I mean, great jazz, food, you can't beat that, right?
Oh yeah, and I also wanted to mention too our performances also included professional musicians. The first one we had the great Cameron Brown on bass, and we had Tony Jefferson on drums, and Dan Kozlowski on keyboard. Our second one, which was at the Bean Runner, we had Mike Longo on piano. And Mike, as you may know, was the former music director for Dizzy Gillespie, and he's He's one of the masters. And we had Hilliard Hill Green on bass, another master, and Tony Jefferson was on drums.
So what do these professional musicians say when they sit down with these guys? Are they thoroughly impressed? I'm sure they are.
Yes, for a couple of reasons. One, that it could be young people that want to learn to play this music.
Right, that's kind of extraordinary. I mean, you don't find too many people that are kind of following jazz at this point, or not following jazz, but kind of have an affinity.
Well, they're actually working on it.
Yeah.
Every generation has their own music. My generation had soul music in a form of rhythm and blues that you danced to with King Curtis, Junior Walker, etc. That's where I came up with. But we also had Cannonball Adderley, we had Train, and Stan Getz and all the other, Brubeck, and all the others that we listened to. That was our orientation. And this group, they have their music, and they're listening to and playing jazz. So.
Do you see that changing in some way, or somehow the current style of music somehow influencing jazz in something? I mean, like you might have like Latin jazz or jazz fusion. Do you see music going in any type of direction at this point?
Well, it always evolves. We have eras in which of the music, and it's moving in another direction. However, our focus is to make sure that the students who come through this orientation of the music, that they get a clear understanding of the tradition, where this music came from, how it developed, and the fact that we're standing on shoulders of people who paid the dues, and helped to create this music. It's also a history lesson for us. It's an American history lesson. We do talk about some of these things in our workshop. I talk about the church, the rhythm from the church. And that rhythm came from the fields, and how the music swings and how it how we feel it, and we need to be able to feel it that we want to dance to it rhythmically. Melodically, it's like singing. So we have dancing, we have singing, and we have playing, which is music. That's our music. That's the pure form of music. The other elements that have been identified as schools of dance, schools of vocal, schools of instrumental. That came later, and that was a European decision about how things were going to be looked at and approached. Through time, people didn't separate that. They danced, they sang, and they played instruments at the same time, and that's how it went. That's a component of the roots of this music. So it's rhythmic, it's harmonic, and it's melodic. And it's a beautiful language, and they're working on it. They're learning it.
No, I can totally see that. There's definitely kind of this. I guess what the best way to describe it is they're totally digging it when they're playing it, so they must really like it. Right? So Sophia, what is it like to play the drums for these guys? Is it nerve-wracking, as someone mentioned, or
Yeah.
a little?
Yeah, because I just started playing jazz, so I have to learn all the techniques and rhythms because I'm used to playing rock and stuff, so it's really different.
Okay, so how long have you been playing the drums?
4 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, and you've been playing jazz just since this workshop started?
I've been playing jazz. I'm in the jazz band for my school since 5th grade, and I just started this summer with them.
Okay.
With Red Blue.
So you and your sister also have this rock quartet?
True.
Okay. So what's the most important thing you want someone to take away from this pro-am ensemble, or that part of your cross-cultural connection?
Most important part, that they enjoy themselves, that they create a vision for themselves, that they've embraced a sense of discipline for themselves, the importance of having structure in their lives and whatever they do. they don't have to be on the track to be professional musicians, but I can guarantee they're on the track for being good people and good citizens and hard workers. And that's I think that's the most we can ask for anyone.
Do you think studying music has been a part of that kind of building character?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. To play music is a sophisticated art form. It takes again, the focus, the discipline, taking on responsibility, designing a structure for oneself, making good choices, being a critical thinker, being an analytical thinker, and being in touch with one's own emotions, being connected with good things around you, good things in the environment. We generally want to be around good people, people who share an idea of fairness and honesty and respect. That's how I see it. The commercial part of music is a difficult thing, because that's when we have to deal with the business part of it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Do you think maybe these guys being so young, maybe going into clubs and kind of doing gigs might not be the best thing for them at this point in their lives?
I won't say that, but what I do know about
there's
them,
pitfalls everywhere. I mean,
yeah, well, no, I'm saying this for a reason. One of the reasons that they are who they are is because of their parents, the support they have from their parents. They're there. Their parents are right there with them. They're supporting what they're doing. They have relationships with their parents. It reminds me, well, I had the same situation growing up, so I understand, I relate to that. I had a band in high school, and it was the parents of the band members. They're the ones that made sure we got to the gigs. They were our first audiences a lot of times. It was them,
Right.
And yeah, so that's an important part. It doesn't put us or them, above anyone else, because people's situations are what they are. But this group is one that has the support from their parents. I know that Christina and Sophia and Carly, that trio, they go to open mics.
Okay.
They go to open mics. They're getting a taste of what that is. Christina explained the last situation they had.
What was that?
Really? You tell it.
There's always like issues.
We don't have to say where it was, but just.
Yeah, like you go, sometimes they don't want drums, sometimes they don't like your style or something. So it's like always like, at an open mic,
You never know what to
You try
expect.
for it, and if it happens, it's always good. But if it doesn't, then.
Okay, so it's kind of you're developing a thick skin.
Hmm?
Kind of developing a thick skin towards any type of
Oh.
criticism or things like that.
Like yeah, you just gotta try for it. It happens. If it's good, if it goes well, then you're always, it's worth a shot. And if it doesn't, it was worth a shot.
So are there any other projects you have going on with the CCC?
The primary project right now is to begin to raise money for the upcoming year. We're focusing on the Pro-Am ensemble right now. We want to expand and add to the recruitment. There are a couple other programs that are involved with musical storytelling, with anti-bullying, good decision making.
Okay.
Yeah. Jazz history. We did one on the Harlem Renaissance this year as well.
Okay.
And so those programs, wanting to be more visible in schools and in the community, because those messages are important. So those pieces, and as I said, the fundraising part. So we have, because of the plans, We have some we have new supporter, Mr. Larry Coleman and I, the chemical company that's over in Brewster, Axel Noble. They're
Sponsoring
yeah,
the group.
yeah, they're going to be sponsoring us, and that's I'm really happy about that, and I really want to thank our we have several advocates, and Donald Bennett is one of them.
Okay.
We've had a lot of support in the community, with businesses, Arnie Packley at the Vin Street Grill, Drew and Ted at the Bean Runner. We've connected with the Embark. Ruben's has always been, Ruben's always been cool.
Okay.
There's a long list, and I don't want to leave anyone out, so I won't keep
Mention
naming
any more
names.
names?
Yeah.
Well, we're actually coming to the time where we have to kind of wrap things up. So I know that you also have a number of personal gigs that you'll be doing, outside of the Pro-Am Ensemble.
Yeah.
So tell our audience how they can find out information about you
Well, you can
and
go.
sponsor the program here as well.
Yes. Well, you can go to my website. It's www.rayblue.com, and I also have a newsletter. So if you're interested in receiving that, you can just put a note on the website, and I keep people informed on what's going on with my gigs and the tours and what's happening with the teaching and the Pro-Am Ensemble. And,
Okay, so when once again we're going to be performing in White Plains at the
White Plains Food and International Jazz Festival on Sunday, September 8th. Showtime for us is 11:30. We're going to be the opening act.
Okay, terrific. Well, listen, I want to thank all of you for coming. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show, get to know you a little bit. We're going to be having a clip of these guys performing at the end of the show here, so we hope you enjoy it. Definitely throw a little support their way. Like us on Facebook. As I mentioned earlier, we've been doing this now for about 2 years, and this is our 50th show. So there's a lot of people that we have to thank, and we'll start by thanking Mr. Brooks, who's our director, and many of the other crew, the Pisano's, Doug, Steve, Millie. Thank you very much for hanging in there and being with us through all these episodes. As I mentioned, you can go like us on Facebook. I hope you guys go home and like me on Facebook, Living Arts in Westchester. And we're going to go say, good night. Tune in next time. Peace.